this man right here, Mr. Hyrule Gamer, will usually call a few times per week and just talk about random stuff. But very rarely will it actually come on to Zelda talk, since there's just not that much to talk about at the minute. Though there is one thing we'll do every now and then when we do talk. We like a drink from time to time, so here's what we're going to do today. We're going to have some drinks and discuss the potential of Tears of the Kingdom. Quick disclaimer, there are drunk people in this video. There's no swearing or anything like that. Though because this is a much different type of video and some people who usually watch the channel may have gone through something awful down to the effects of alcohol, I've left the link for mind.org, who offer advice for people with a drug or alcohol addiction, in the description. I hope you enjoyed this extremely different video inspired by Peanut Butter Gamer and Normal Boots. This will not become a normal thing, but do let me know if you enjoy it in the comments. There's some funny bits, some tangenty bits. This is very disjointed. Have fun. Oh, and my microphone does peak from time to time, so sorry about that.
Damn, the sound of that popping off on the mic sounded
Oh,
nice.
Could you hear it? Oh, nice.
Yeah, it sounded satisfying.
The underground in Tears of the Kingdom looks really cool. Doesn't it? It looks really damn cool.
Yeah.
We've only seen a few, like, shots of it at the minute.
Yeah.
Or we think we have. The interesting thing is, we haven't really, like, seen much of it through, like, you know, like the Nintendo, like, Twitter account and stuff?
Yeah, I'm a follower.
yeah, me too. Believe it or not, I think a lot of the people watching this are probably followers of the Nintendo YouTube.
I'd hope so.
Twitter.
They put out banger tweets recycling the same screenshots. So
I think
I think he's still thinking.
I think they're going to be a big part of the game.
The underground.
Yeah.
Not the screenshots. The underground.
Not the screen.
Yeah, no,
Because,
I think the underground's going to be pretty huge.
Because, like, purely down to the fact that they haven't mentioned anything yet. When we think about, like, Breath of the Wild, like, we knew quite a lot about Breath of the Wild. When I say we, I mean the royal we, because I just wasn't a Zelda fan at the time. But I think we knew quite a lot about the game, but the January trailer, the last one, really, when you think about it, was the big one. It showed off, like, what you were going to do for most of your time in Hyrule. You know, the Divine Beasts, the shrines, the etc, etc, etc. Everything you were going to be doing.
Yeah.
Shield surfing, literally as much as you can think of. I swung my arm out so far. I just think that the next trailer, because it will be the final trailer. There was kind of like a thought that there might be one at the Game Awards, there might be one in February, there might be one April, March. Game Awards never happened.
Yeah, I remember we were streaming together. It was fun.
Horizon Forbidden West DLC was never sadder.
Yeah, that was horrible, but like good horrible.
Yeah, good horrible. Good for the Horizon fans at least. I think that it has to be a big part of the next trailer, and I also think it's going to be a huge part of the next game. Just down to the fact that they've only teased it. But yeah, I just think there's so much potential for caves. I think, especially, I know you can't speak on this, but Elden Ring did caves to an immaculate degree. And I know, like, obviously Elden Ring came out last year. It's hard to kind of implement the stuff that Elden Ring put into their game, or FromSoft put into their game, into the next Zelda game, this late on into production.
Yeah.
But I think caves are a big part, and I think for me personally, again, we are drunk. I want to just, like, 100% put this out there. We are drunk. This isn't like our full thoughts. This isn't comprehensive. If you want our comprehensive thoughts, we both have
This is
videos.
our expanded thoughts is what it is.
Yeah, we both have thoughts on the underground in, like, both channels.
Yeah, we're both thinkers.
I'm just very excited about it, because the underground...
Yeah.
The thing is, I know you didn't play Elden Ring, which... It pains me to know.
I've seen parts of it though. Whenever I talk about the underground, someone brings Elden Ring up, and a lot of screenshots and videos have been shared with me.
Yeah.
And it does look pretty epic. Like, it's very large scale.
Yeah. Have you heard of You probably wouldn't have heard the name because I only heard it today, to be honest. Nocron.
Nope.
Dude, I want something like that, like Nocron Eternal City or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
In Tears of the Kingdom, something where you go underground and it's like where the Bokkos are mining, like you were talking about earlier. Something that's just fun to explore and is brand new. Because I mean, like, don't get me wrong, the Skylands, and this is a good way to get into the Skylands, by the way, but the Skylands are going to be really fun. Don't get me wrong. Oh yeah,
no doubt.
Because I mean, even without any underground elements, I would have been happy enough with the Skylands. But I think the underground just enhances it so much more, because the underground is such an easy way to make the world just feel so much bigger than it actually is.
Yeah.
But it's gonna. I will admit it's pretty odd to really put that into the game, because like, if there isn't an underground in Breath of the Wild, how do you put an underground in Tears of the Kingdom?
Yeah, it's just the transferring points that's the thing they need to figure out. Which, honestly, going off the trailers, you know those green spiral things we see on the ground?
Yeah.
A good example I think most people will know is at the end of the latest trailer, where the logo fades in, you can see one of them, like a green spiral. I think they'll have something to do with getting underground. It's the only thing I can think of, because like you said, the existing world doesn't really have a connecting point, and I think they'll have something to do with it. That and locations lifting up, such as
do it. Say the thing. Say the thing. Say the thing.
The Zonai.
Dude,
the Zonai
that's not the thing. That's not the thing, dude. Dude, Arbiter's Grounds. Just say Arbiter's Grounds.
Oh,
just make me hyped.
Arbiter's Grounds. Lifting up.
Dude, I'll be so hyped.
Ganondorf has Malice powers in this game. Hyrule Castle's going up. Death Mountain's throwing up. Arbiter's Grounds blowing up. It's gonna be hype. Dude, it makes sense with the Malice. If he's controlling it to this degree, he can push any location he wants up. That's how I'm seeing it. The video's not out yet. This is a shameless plug. I have a video that's gonna come out. It will be out when this is out, but currently it's not out. And in it, I talk about how, like, he has such control over Malice now. Like, he's an intelligent being himself, plus he's got Malice on his side. He's pushing Hyrule Castle up, he's throwing up out of Death Mountain. That's just from trailers. There's a good chance that other locations are going to have that, and Arbiter's Grounds better be one of them.
I really hope so. The Arbiter's Grounds is... The thing is, over like the series, the Zelda team, I know this is completely offside the point.
Yeah, a little bit.
But you know what? This is why people collect. The Zelda series is really good at bringing old dungeons, especially. I think Ocarina of Time... especially Ocarina of Time's Twilight Princess, actually. With like Spirit Temple to Arbiter's Grounds, a lot of people think they might have a connection, or like Forest Temple to Forest Temple, or like just a billion places. I more than anything in the world, we could almost do a whole video on this, a whole drunk video on this, because I think there is so much to be pulled out of dungeons in this series, and I think like Snow Peak Ruins is such
what a dungeon.
Dude, I love Snow Peak Ruins so much. I love
Snow
the
Peak
lore.
Ruins is... It's one of the best dungeons in the series.
Obviously, we talked about Elden Ring, and that will definitely make it in the video. There's a lot that is going to be cut out of this, by the way, for anyone who is watching. I don't know how many people are going to watch. But for anyone who's watching, I want the smaller dungeon areas, kind of like what we see with like the Hinox. I think you brought this up in a video, actually. With like how the Hinox area looks a lot more green, but it's definitely still underground. It's still like going into underground.
Yeah, it like shows how it's a completely different level of underground. Like it appears much more near the surface, where green vegetation would grow.
Which leads us perfect. Leads us perfectly into
take the segue while you've got it.
Into the Skylands.
They're in the sky. What are they doing?
So, I kind of want to talk about this a little bit more, as in kind of the theming. Because I know I say we found, but I just haven't seen enough analysis videos. You know, like the island that's above like Farum? That looks like it's really like forest dense.
Yeah.
Or like above Hebra, it might be snow covered. We don't know. Or like, you know, above like, I don't know, Goron Mountain, it might just be, you know, those more like brownish rocks than we're used to.
Yeah.
those sorts of things. I want the Skylands to be more of that. I want them to be themed without being themed, if you know what I mean. Like, if you
like
go into
regionally
Skyland,
themed, or
yeah, regionally themed.
yeah, I think that does make sense to have them sort of regionally themed. It doesn't necessarily have to line up with where they're above for me, but I feel like some sort of regional theming would do well. Even if that's like the different elevations being a regional theme, as in like all the lower islands suit a similar style, all the higher up ones. I can't tell if that's discussed at this idea or the whiskey.
Help me. It's the whiskey.
Yeah,
I just coughed into the mic, I'm sorry.
Damn. Rip the headphone users like this. But yeah, no,
Dude,
I think themes for the islands have to be present. It's just, I don't really mind how they do it. Whether it's in line with the regions already or whether it's something different.
I will admit I haven't seen the Zelda lore video to this day, or the Super Zelda Go video actually. I definitely want to watch those videos. They might have said something about that forest dense area. I remember I added it into the possible dungeon locations video just at a whim, and I was like, yo, look, me and Adam pointed this thing out. Look at this thing.
Yeah.
I think that personally that proves that they are going to be themed. I hope that they have more bombastic music. They're much smaller in comparison to the overworld itself, or most likely the caves as well. I think there's a few ways that we can actually get to the Skylands though, and I think after the last trailer, I think we can pretty quickly say that it's the vehicles is one of the biggest ways to get to the Skylands, especially like the air balloon and like I keep saying like a helicopter type thing, but it's not really.
It's like a hovercraft kind of thing.
Yeah, they just if like the green goo that people seem to be calling it, like the green goo, green glue.
Yeah.
If that is like a big part of
the glue,
of like crafting or like making vehicles or item crafting, etc., etc. That would just be really cool. I think that boosts the potential for the next game to an insane degree, and it makes it more sandboxy. But I also think some people don't think that's a good thing. Being more sandboxy doesn't equate to the game being good or being more like a Zelda game. To that, I say wait until the dungeon's part of the video. But apart from that, I think vehicles will offer a good amount of freedom. I think the open world is going to offer a good amount of freedom in general, because I mean, Nintendo seems to be pushing the open world element a lot this time around. With the tweets, especially the tweet.
Yeah,
like,
I was going to say,
today,
especially in their marketing and how they word things. They keep talking about like choose how you'll explore the kingdom, and they always highlight the vehicle images when they say that, which just makes it out as if there's going to be more freedom somehow. Breath of the Wild is extremely free, but they're making out as if it's going to be even more, which could just mean more ways to explore. But this time in like a changed up Hyrule. I don't know, I think the potential of the vehicles is really interesting. I feel like there's a lot they could do with that. Especially if it is as creative as a lot of people are thinking it will be, to the point where like you can basically make whatever you want with the glue. There's a lot I could say about that glue, if I'm being honest. I want to know the origins of it.
The origins of the glue.
Yeah, I want to know where that's coming from. I've seen someone say it comes from the little things on Link's hip, like the vials.
Yeah.
All I have to say to that is...
Yeah, go on.
It seems plausible, but I'm struggling to see how all of it fits in that, if that makes sense. I know it's a game, and there'll be a mechanic of some kind, but I just don't know. For me, it's not that. I think it might be the same energy or same whatever's in it, but I don't think it's coming from what's on his hip. This is getting a bit sidetracked, but like, vehicles, cool.
Vehicles, Pog.
Yeah, Pog in the chat.
I think the comments are now full of Pogs.
I'm concerned about how it fits, particularly the car. I can understand the flying ones a bit more, they might work a bit better, But that one with the wheels in particular, I'm a little bit concerned about whether it's just going to feel like the Master Cycle Zero again, but bigger, or if there's going to be a genuine reason to use that. There has to be, though. It feels like there has to be, otherwise why would they put it in?
I don't know if you've seen... Have you seen the box art for Breath of the Wild?
I have. The European one, or...?
I think on the US box art it says craft your own journey on the back.
Really?
Yeah, I might be wrong about that. It was in Arlo's big fat review, but like, I don't know how long in, so 4 hours of a video, I'm alright.
Yeah, craft your survival, I think it says.
Yeah, I know a lot of people were pretty sad about that because it said craft on the back. But I think crafting does fit in Breath of the Wild in particular.
Yeah, I think it fits.
And I hope, if Tears of the Kingdom does want to lean in it, I hope it just leans all the way into it rather than a halfway step like Breath of the Wild kind of was.
Yeah, like it leans and falls over into it.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much all we can say on the vehicles, because the thing is we don't know enough.
Yeah, there's really not enough. There's like 3 clips of like 5 seconds at most.
Exploring the open world. Just like the original open world, Hyrule. I mean, the thing is, we're very biased. But I'm not too worried about this. I think it's going to be completely fine. Pretty much 99% of the time. I see a lot of people bring it up and being like, well, if it's the same overworld, how are they going to make it interesting? And I kind of agree to an extent. And I definitely agreed before God of War Ragnarok. I think
fun
that game...
Fun game. I've never played it, but fun game.
You've never played it? Dude, it's such a...
I'm just making general comments. Damn cat takeover.
A lot of people's problems with Tears of the Kingdom is that it's taking the same world as Hyrule. And obviously, you know, God of War, for people who have played it, it's the same world, but then it's also like, you know, you add in a couple of other worlds. It's I can't remember what they're called, but like I think it adds in a world called Svartalfheim or something like that. It adds in another realm as well, and I think it does a really good job of that. But none of those worlds are as big as Hyrule. None of those worlds are as big as, you know, like Midgar Earth isn't as big as Hyrule. So it's like, well, it's not too comparable, but I think it serves as a perfect sequel, and it shows that changes in the overworld can change a lot. This is a big aside, but Midgar in God of War 2018 is like, it's just this giant lake bed, pretty much.
Okay.
In Ragnarok, it's frozen over, which means that there's more opportunity to break into the ice, and there's like caves and stuff in there, little bits like that. And I think it does a really good job at expanding the world, and I think Tears of the Kingdom can take a lot from God of War Ragnarok in that sense. And I also think, just as a sequel as well, I think the game's going to have a much bigger story, which we'll talk about later and in another video. I think Ragnarok is the main reason why people shouldn't be too worried about the next game. Despite it coming out last year, like really late into last year as well, so it's really hard to try and say that's the reason people should not be scared. Like if Elden Ring and God of War Ragnarok had come out in 2018, then it would be like, oh, the Zelda team are taken from Red Dead, they're taken from God of War, and they're taken from Elden Ring. So underground, you know, mounts and the overworld changes. But I think there's just a lot of potential. But there is a lot you can do in the last few months of a game coming out. And I think maybe now is a bit too late. But a year ago or 5 months ago, when God of War came out or Elden Ring came out, you can add a lot in that time. Do you have anything else to add on to the overworld stuff?
No, I was waiting for you to get your thoughts out. Going back to that point you'd mentioned about Hyrule being bigger than anything. Hyrule's like an entity. Hyrule's Hyrule. It's this place that you go and you get lost for hours upon hours. I don't know how to say it. Just for years I've been in Hyrule, both mentally, physically, spiritually. Hyrule is it's magical. Where am I going with that? Hyrule is, especially in Breath of the Wild, Hyrule is like a blank canvas, if that makes sense. It's ruined. It's not alive, so to say. Like obviously there's the settlements that have survived, but it's not prime Hyrule. A lot of it is just blank. Go explore what's left. And I think that's where Tears of the Kingdom's going to thrive. All the gaps, so to say, which are ruins, will find some sort of purpose in Tears of the Kingdom with repurposing. Whether that's they're now in danger, whether that's they've been rebuilt up, whatever the case may be. I think we've seen some of it in the trailers where there's been like a few, not like significant locations, but just locations where you can see that they've been built on. Whether that's by enemies or not, only time will tell with that. But yeah, I don't know where I went with that. Hyrule's a blank canvas. Tears of the Kingdom's gonna go wild with it.
Yeah, I feel that.
Bada bing, bada boom. Moving on.
I think the potential is so crazy for like the overworld itself.
That's the word I was looking for. The potential is there because it's Breath of the Wild's left it at blank canvas. But the thing is, the blank canvas isn't even bad, because for Breath of the Wild, it worked super well being blank and just exploring it as is. Tears of the Kingdom basically has a chance to build on that massively and make it different.
But I think we should talk about dungeons, actually. Damn, we're at the end. Dungeons. Yeah. Dungeons are possibly the biggest worry when it comes to, like, I think the open world itself, it's a big worry. But I think dungeons are, I think the open world itself is the biggest worry for Zelda fans that came through Breath of the Wild.
Yeah,
I think
that is important to mention.
Yeah, I think dungeons are the biggest worry for Zelda fans that came through anywhere else. I don't think dungeons need to be traditional. I want to put that out there. I don't think dungeons
That's a hot take.
I don't think dungeons need to be traditional. I think they need to be changed, though. I don't think they need to be divine beasts. I think they need to be more like Hyrule Castle or traditional.
Yeah. I think they need to be dungeons. I think that's the main thing. I don't think divine beasts were dungeons. I think they were divine beasts. I think the base thing that needs to be present is their dungeons. Whether that's more akin to traditional, whether that's a new take, whether it's a hybrid, who knows? As long as it's dungeons, like it has the key fundamentals of those, particularly the themes. The themes are probably one of the most important things.
I don't think that like dungeons in the next game need keys. As an example, like as a small example, I don't think they need keys.
I don't even know if it'll necessarily work to have keys in the open world format.
Yeah, it's like, where do you put the keys? In the dungeon. Okay, but like, if you want the dungeons to be more like Hyrule Castle, then how does that work? And I think the only reason why people remember Hyrule Castle so fondly, and I hate saying this, is because of the Hylian shield. Yeah,
if you take that out of the equation, it's not actually that important a location other than the final boss.
Yeah, the final boss, it's fun to explore, don't get me wrong.
I mean, yeah, it is fun to explore, but if you're talking about key takeaways from it, the only two real key takeaways are final boss, Hylian shield. That's really the only two key takeaways.
There's technically a mini boss in there as well.
The Stalnox?
No, or yeah, technically.
Oh,
but
there's another mini boss?
I'd say technically.
Oh, the Lionel.
Yeah, the Lionel.
Yeah, where the door drops when you walk in.
Yeah,
that gives a really good example for how mini bosses could work in Tears of the Kingdom, where like you just walk in, doors are closed. You can escape, but it's not easy.
I think Hyrule Castle is a really good way. I never really thought of like the Lionel thought until now. I guess that's what being drunk does to you. But I think it gives you a good look at what mini bosses could be like. Obviously, you know, if they do real dungeons, there's not going to be like an easy way to like fly into the bottom of Hyrule Castle or, you know, climb above the mini boss arena. I think the potential for dungeons in the next game is crazy, especially because we haven't mentioned this yet, but they have had 6 years to make this game.
Yeah. There's got to be something cooking in there.
There's gotta be. And like, the underground, I think personally, and I think Adam believes this as well, the underground and the dungeons are what's taken most of the development time.
I think so.
The Skylands are the front. They're the thing to go, oh, they're pretty hype because, you know, you can see the overworld. You can see the original overworld, and that's cool.
Yeah, it gives a familiarity to Breath of the Wild, which is where a lot of people have came in from.
Yeah, like, you know the graphic today on the...
yes.
We're recording this on Wednesday, by the way. The tweet will be on the screen now. But on Wednesday, there's this tweet, there's the graphic about, like, the Great Plateau shot versus... Yeah, the sky, but it's the screenshot that they didn't show in the trailer, by the way.
Yeah, it was a press screenshot they showed, actually.
Yeah,
it wasn't from the trailer.
Weird. They're showing off how big Hyrule is. It's like they don't want to focus on Skylands. They really don't. They haven't shown much of the Skylands. They haven't shown what's on the Skylands. Like, you know Hyrule? They did like the sweeping shots of Hyrule. It's like, here's, you know, foxes running around, or in Hebrew region it's the giant mountain with the giant hole in it, versus the Skylands where we've seen nothing. We had like 2 months from release, almost, like at the moment of recording. By the time this video comes out, we will be less than 2 months before release.
Bruh.
Not even that. We're going to be a month
crazy.
and a half from release when this comes out. Tears of the Kingdom just has so much potential, and I think they are using the Skylands as a front, and I think the underground is going to be the big thing, but we just don't know that yet.
Yeah. All it takes is one more showcase of the game, trailer, gameplay, whatever, and I think then it will be certain.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming in the next couple of months. It has to, because otherwise the game's out. That's in the next 8 weeks, by the way. That's nuts.
That's crazy to think about how close that is. It's when you put it in like different units of measurement.
Check out Adam's video. We're going to be talking about the story on his channel, which we mentioned a bit earlier on, I think. But go and check out that video. It'll be in the description and in the comments. This has probably taken a ridiculous amount of editing because our recording is insane. We really appreciate if you have watched this, because this is really different. Especially, well, no, not especially, for both of our channels. It's really different, and if you like it, we will do another after release.
Yeah, we'll get drunk again.
We'll get drunk a lot.
That's not a problem. We'll probably do it anyway. It's just a question of if we record.
Please subscribe for more weekly content in the lead up to Tears of the Kingdom's release, and you'll join the 21% of people who are watching that are subscribed. Plus, like the video if you enjoyed it, it helped a ton. Thank you to all of my amazing Patreon supporters and members, with an extra special thank you to Sumji and Jared Whedon as usual. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you on Sunday. Please do stay safe. I was gone for not even 20 seconds. No, that's wrong. Not even a minute.
That's a bit better. Damn.
God damn. He's so cute though, I can't move him.